In today's video, I am going to be breaking down a couple of flex basketball plays. First, I will be going over what flex really is, but all of these plays are going to be simple enough for most youth teams to be able to run. So let's get down and let's check these out. But really quickly, if you want a very easy offense, make sure to go check out the complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down in the description below. But also, if you're more of a high school age coach, make sure to go check out the Horns basketball playbook that is down in the description below too. That can also work at the middle school level as well. Anyways, let's get down and let's check out these flex basketball plays. Okay, so really quickly, what flex is in this case, it's almost like a triangle on this side. We're going to have player 5 setting an off-ball screen to player 4. Player 4 is going to then cut to the rim. This would be the first option. Next, he usually stays in that opposite post. Next, we will then have player 3 setting the down screen for player 5. Now, depending on how the defense is playing this set or this action, player 3 could be open if there is a miscommunication, or player 5 could be open in this case for that 3-point shot. So this kind of gives us 3 different options. But this is what flex is. This isn't necessarily a play that's incorporating it. So one of the easiest plays that you can run is almost like a 4-corner play, exactly what I just broke down, except first we're going to go into a dribble handoff, a DHO, with player 2. While this is happening, while this dribble handoff is happening, player 5 is setting the back screen on player 4. This way, we can have a little bit of a miscommunication on this side when it comes to the defense, so that player 4 doesn't have to worry about any help defenders that would be sitting here. This way, he may be wide open for that initial pass and shot. But then we'll have that down screen from player 3. And we could even go into an even further set where now player 1 sets that off-ball screen for player 4 to continue through, so that now this gives us a secondary option to be able to work off of either player 4 or player 5. And because this would be an off-ball screen, we would want player 3 to dive to the rim, and this could be our third option, technically fourth, in this play. So this next play is very similar to a start of a play that a lot of high school, junior high school teams will run. So we're going to start with player 3 diving to the opposite post, and then player 4 is going to sprint up, and player 1 is then going to dribble over towards that right wing, so that this turns into the DHO. You're going to notice that this is very similar to the last play, but there's a little bit of a difference. The difference being is who is in the low post on this side. So that now player 1 rolls off, he is going to then go to that low post. I want player 3 to set this off-ball screen so that there's a switch. We're hoping for a switch either there on this screen or this screen that's happening there. Either player 3 or player 1's defender is going to then switch. We're hoping for that to happen. If there's a miscommunication, player 1 may be wide open. Player 5 could be wide open for a 3-point shot. But then we're going to have a down screen by player 2, so that now there could be a secondary miscommunication where player 2 could be wide open, or player 3 could be wide open for the 3-point shot. This gives us a ton of different options that you can run. And if any of these do not work, let's say none of these options are open, player 4 could set up another play, or he could go into a dribble handoff with player 3, and then you could kind of work off of that. 5 would then have to lift, 1 and 2 would then have to fill out, and then we would have to be able to attack that elbow here, because this would be a point dribble handoff, where now we're trying to either work off of getting the ball to these two guys if there's any miscommunication on the help side, or player 4 could be open for the roll. I actually highly enjoy this next play. And if you've ever heard of Zoom, this is actually a very common play that you will see at the college level, but you can actually run it with younger players as well. So you're going to have a pin down screen with player 5. Player 1 is then going to dribble out towards this right side, again setting that dribble handoff. Player 3 is going to lift. This will be the DHO. And player 5 will roll off to that low post. Now, after this dribble handoff, what we will have is player 1 roll to the basket. Player 3 is going to then dribble up close to the point, more towards the slot that is this spot right here. He could hit player 1 with the roll, but generally speaking, it's not going to be open. And player 1 will then fill out towards the corner. This is when we start getting into that flex action that I've been showing you throughout the entire video. And just again, same play, just a different way of getting to the flex. The thing with the flex offense is, or the flex action is, there's 1.5 trillion different ways of being able to get to it. You could do something really crazy, or you could do something very simple, but either way, you can get to it. This is why I like to be able to teach the flex action to younger players, because when it comes to younger players, if you can explain it to them and explain the main actions in different offenses, when they get to another team, to another coach, to whoever, that coach may not call it flex, but that player is going to remember and say, oh, hey, that's flex. I remember that. We ran 8 different plays that ran the exact same action. Now we're running it a totally different way. Now they just have to learn that new way of getting into it, so that now when they run it, it's like, okay, it's like muscle memory. The Horns' way of getting into it is actually quite interesting. I think it's a little bit more complicated than it has to be, but we're going to start with player 4 popping out towards that 3-point line. He should be hopping out to receive that pass. Now we're going to have a back screen on player 1, almost like sort of like a blind pig style play. This would be kind of technically the first option. He could be wide open. He probably will be wide open until they start covering it after you run it 3 or 4 times. But now you are in the ability to run flex. So now after that cut, he sets that off-ball screen for player 3. This would obviously be the first option. And then player 5 sets the pin down on player 1. Player 1 lifts, and this would be the secondary option. Absolutely fantastic play and very easy for you to be able to run. As you can see, this is just the exact same plays over and over again. It's just different ways of getting into flex. I hope that these plays help your team win more games. Make sure to go check out the complete guide to the 5-out offense that is down in the description below, but also make sure to go check out the Horns basketball playbook that is also down there as well. Anyways, hit that like button, subscribe, and I will see you guys again in my next video.